Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is Wyln News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. Wyln News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Wyln News. Here's a recap of our top stories from the week.
A body found in the Susquehanna River on Sunday has been identified. According to the Montour County coroner, 42-year-old Katrina Seguin of Scranton was pulled from the water near the boat launch on River Drive. Investigators say it is unknown at this time how long her body was in the river. Mahoning Township Police and the Montour County Coroner's Office are continuing to investigate the incident. Anyone with information regarding Seguin's activities or whereabouts prior to her death is asked to contact the Montour County Coroner's Office at 570-275-1867. The Helping Hand Society celebrated their preschool class of 2025 Tuesday morning during their annual graduation ceremony. The event opened with musical acts performed by the students, which was then followed by the students receiving their honorary certificates and revealing their favorite interests, while their parents and guardians watched proudly in the audience. With their year of preschool completed, the students are out of school for summer vacation and will be preparing for kindergarten in different schools. Helping Hands Executive Director Mary Beth Cook was in attendance at the event, which took place on the last day of the program, and spoke about the ceremony.
Well, today is one of the most special days of the year. It's bittersweet. After a year of working with these beautiful children, it's time for them to move on. So it's very emotional, but we are so proud of them, and they have all done so well. And it's just a beautiful day.
The Helping Hand Society is a nonprofit organization located at 301 Rocky Road and South Poplar Street in Hazleton that provides educational and therapeutic services to children with special needs. Following the event, Cook expressed her gratitude to the children over the years, acknowledging all the times worth remembering.
Each group of kids that graduates, every year we always think, oh my gosh, how are we going to survive without them? But then the new ones come along, and you do, and the older ones sometimes return and volunteer. And so, again, it's just a feel-good day.
Cook had some advice and thanks to give, not only to the graduates heading for kindergarten, but also for new children yet to come.
To behave and listen and have fun. I just want to have some huge thank yous to, first of all, of course, the children, their parents, the guardians, all those that have been here throughout the year, the board of directors, the CHIPS members, and most of all, in addition to the children, the amazing staff. The staff here works from the heart, and they are talented and gifted, and I couldn't love them anymore. Great team.
Early childhood educator Amanda Marizan said the ceremony was even more special for her this year as she got to see her own child participate in the ceremony.
I thought it was wonderful. It's such a great program for the kids. As an educator, I sent both of my kids here, and it's just a wonderful program. And honestly, if you have a child that needs to be in preschool, this is the best place for your child to be.
Marizan said she's excited to see her child progress and experience even more new things in kindergarten.
Probably new friends, new beginnings, new school.
Despite moving forward, Marizan said she and her child will both miss great elements of Helping Hands.
I think how much the teachers and the staff loved my son as if they were his own. I think the field trips were pretty cool. They had a field trip monthly, so it kind of exposed them to many things like the library, making a pretzel, and stuff like that.
The children were honored for completing the year as they walked down the aisle with pride. Each child went home with proud parents, cupcakes, and eager anticipation for their educational journey yet to come.
Hazleton Parks and Recreation is collaborating with Gratitude Gardens to host a pickleball tournament event this weekend. Pickleball and Party in the Park is an upcoming tournament that will be held at Northgate Playground, located at East 17th and Hay Street in Hazleton, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, June 7th. The event will begin with yoga at 8 a.m., followed by the pickleball tournament at 9 a.m., and the unveiling of the Community Gratitude Garden at 10 a.m. We spoke with Luke Koval, the owner of Gratitude Gardens, who told us about how their brand has grown over time and about their mission to bring more community gardens to the public.
Whether it's someone playing with their kids or before a pickleball match, like taking that just time to be grateful for what you have. Look at the beautiful flowers, like that's what we did with our packaging, and just want to show beauty in the thing that's out there. And it doesn't take much, but we could be grateful for what we have.
The event will conclude with a pizza eating contest at 11 a.m. Food from Joe's Homemade Pierogies and mini donuts will also be available at the event. All ages are welcome to participate in the tournament. Anyone interested in entering a team for the pickleball tournament can sign up by using the QR code on screen. Weatherly Borough has released additional details regarding the resignation of former Mayor Paul Hadzik. Borough officials say the allegations of sexual harassment against the former mayor were investigated by Margolis Edelstein, an impartial law firm out of Philadelphia. Following their investigation, the findings were presented to the council, including the former mayor, in an executive session on April 28th. Following the session, officials say Hadzik verbally announced his resignation effective immediately, which was accepted by the council. The former mayor's written resignation was officially accepted by the council a second time on May 27th. Borough officials say the former mayor was never told the identities of the 4 complainants and did not receive any apologies for the allegations. Borough officials say additional details regarding the investigation will not be released for the protection of the individuals involved. During a special meeting on Tuesday, June 3rd, the council appointed Norman Ritchie as the new mayor of the borough. Jeff Miller was selected as vice president.
Coming up on WYLN News, we check in with State Representative Dane Watrow on Watrow's weekly update. Plus, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Muncie, Part 4. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network and Jefferson Health. Investing in your well-being and building healthier communities because more expertise and convenient care mean better outcomes and a healthier you. Learn more at lvhn.org/Jefferson.
Tomorrow's gonna be stormy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Welcome back to Watro's Weekly Update. I'm joined as always with State Representative Dane Watro. Dane, how's it going here today?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, not too bad this week. Weather is getting a little warmer, so I'm very happy with that for the plants at home as well as my wife. We're finally starting to see some movement with those. But yeah, overall, not too bad.
Yep. Yeah, I know we had that long stretch of rain for a while, but now we finally have some sun, so it's been very welcome this week.
Yeah, we did need the rain. It was my understanding that we were in a drought status for quite some time, and which leads to, unfortunately, fires and all that. So yeah, I'm very happy we got the rain, but now it could stop and we could accept some nice warm weather for the summer.
Absolutely. I know today you wanted to share with our viewers some updates regarding the state budget, since I know it's that time of year again to get things moving with that, and I know you want to share some updates with that.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. We just kicked it off this week down in Harrisburg. We run, for the people that don't know, a fiscal budget. And we are, by law, has to be done by June 30th. Now, we did pass some vehicles today and kicked it over to the Senate for consideration to keep the government moving and keep it going. I feel confident. I'm hopeful that we could get to some type of compromise. There's a lot of controversial things out there right now. Marijuana being a top one. I'm sure it's all over the news. That's one of the governor's big proposals. Just get it straight, I am not in favor of that right now. It's just too many what ifs, and it seems like for every dollar spent, there'll be $5 spent in having education on it, rehabilitation, and counseling. So I just don't think it's something we should explore right now. But we'll see what the entire body decides to do if they're if the Senate's going to go ahead and consider it. It did pass the House by a 1 vote. Majority there, so that's where we're at right now, and I'm hopeful that we'll get it done at least in a timely manner, but June 30th is our deadline.
Right, yeah, and I hope it does go along pretty swiftly. I know last year it did take a bit of time for the budget to get fully proposed and everything, but hopefully this year it's a much swifter process with you guys.
It needs to be. It needs to be for the taxpayers out there, and I wish we were talking about, more like tax cuts. School property tax is a huge thing. We got to learn how to fund that differently. People just can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know you also want to share some updates on some of other events that you've been attending here in the local area. I know you paid a visit over to American Anthracite recently with their coal manufacturing center over there.
Yeah, I was super excited to get to tour that facility. We have a lot of mining in our district here, the legislative district, and I'm just excited to be a part of that. I advocate very much for these hard miners. They're hard workers. They're out there every day. Anthracite is the best coal you could get, and we have it right here in our backyard. Leading producer of, I'm just very strong a supporter of natural resources, and having it right here is something that I'm very proud of, to wave that flag and support that industry of mining in general, of all those miners in that industry. So my hat's off to them. There are some hard workers. I came home, I took a tour a few months ago and took a tour in a breaker. And I said to my wife when I got home, I just could not imagine decades and decades ago have the breaker boys, the young children in the breaker cracking that coal. I just could not imagine something like that. But now it's all done with machines, and they do surface mining, and the cranes go down, so they're not tunneling their way in there anymore and putting themselves in harm's way. It's still a very dangerous job. and we got to be careful, and there's a lot of safety measures in place, and one thing that they take pride in is safety, so that's very good. A lot of people in this area still burn coal. I know I personally did up until about 3 years ago. I had rice coal as my source of heat in my house, so it's a lot of people still have that very much coal as their source of heat, so it's something that I really try to advocate for and keep that coal industry moving.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know coal mines is very much a foundational aspect of northeastern PA. I know a lot of people have like such a high regard both for the practicality of it itself and also the history of it. So I know it's definitely something that a lot of people always keep in mind here in NEPA.
And having it right in our backyard, anthracite's a leading, thing of steel. I don't know too much about it, but I've been learning a lot about it. And anthracite is that coal that comes from here is makes our steel, and it's very helpful for everything we have in everything in your house. I'm sure you could pick out many things that originates from that very much anthracite coal. So thanks for bringing that up there. It was a privilege to have the opportunity to tour that facility.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to share with our viewers this week?
No, I think that's about it, but I appreciate you always having me on here, and I gotta tell you, being on here in WYLN is always, it's refreshing. This is one news station that always actually wants to talk about the great stuff happening. I know I said it not too long ago when I was on, but it's very refreshing to be on here and be interviewed by you. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Absolutely. We always appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
As always, I want to thank Representative Watcher for joining us here on Watcher's Weekly Update. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined here with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Hey Ryan, I love helping people, so thank you for being here.
I love being here, and today helping people, we're going to talk about proper lifting techniques.
Right now we're all starting to do gardening, so we're picking up peat moss and fertilizers and lime and all that stuff. So if you're at the gym or even at the workload or in your garage, always don't bend over from the waist. People will say to me, all I did was pick up a 30-pound bag of fruit, but I bent over from the waist. The goal is always bend the knees, sort of what we call squat. And it takes, you got to get down lower. People will say, my dog is sickly. He's 50 pounds. I have to take him outside to pee because he can't walk. Bend down with your legs, pick up with the legs. So don't bend over with your legs straight. It strains the back, it misaligns the back, and it's the sacroiliac joints misaligned. So proper technique, and I'm talking little things. Even if you bend over to pick up your dirty socks, bend with your knees. It just doesn't have to be for 50 pounds of weights.
Yep, bending with your knees is important. I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining us on this Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.
Lehigh Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More access, more doctors, more convenience. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story. Call us today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process with professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call right now for your free writer's guide.
1-800-215-3680.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
My name is Zyla, and tomorrow's gonna be stormy.
A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
Life returned to normal in Muncie in the years following the last raft tragedy. Moviegoers in the area would get their own drive-in theater with the opening of the Starlight Drive-In in June 1949. Located on what was then Route 220 between Muncie and Halls, and it's space for 720 cars. The Starlight Drive-In operated until about 1975, although it would remain standing for several years afterwards until it was finally torn down in 1993. One constant over the years was, and continues to be, the Muncie Indians' rivalry with the Montgomery Red Raiders on the football field. In 1961, Muncie Athletic Director Dick Dietz was approached by the school board about creating a trophy for the rivalry game. As it was, Dietz was soon thereafter cleaning out the football team's equipment after the season with physical education teacher George Sowers. Almost mockingly, Dietz held up a random cleat from a pile of equipment and asked if it would make a decent trophy. "You know something? That's a good idea," an interested Sowers told him. The cleat was bronzed by the Muncie JCs, and in the years since, Muncie and Montgomery have played annually for the Old Shoe Trophy. Originally, the trophy was presented with the understanding that if a school won the annual game 5 years in a row, they would keep it permanently. When Montgomery accomplished this in 1974, however, the team voted to keep the trophy in play, and thus the Old Shoe Trophy has remained in play to the present. For Muncie's baseball fans, one of their own would give them good reason to cheer throughout the 1970s. Ed Ott, of no relation to Hall of Famer Mel Ott, was born in Muncie in 1951. Although Muncie High did not have a baseball team at that time, he was the third baseman on local American Legion teams throughout the summer months. Ott would be signed out of high school by the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1970. After 4 years in the minors as an outfielder, he made his major league debut on June 10, 1974. He returned to the minors by the end of the season, after which the Pirates asked him to convert to a catcher. Initially resistant, Ott ultimately agreed to the change on the grounds that it would allow him to get back to the majors more quickly. He returned to the big leagues full-time as a catcher on September 16, 1975. Ott would alternate as the Pirates catcher for the next 5 years. His most memorable moment, however, would come on the base pads against the New York Mets on August 12, 1977. Ott slid hard into second base to break up a double play attempt by Mets second baseman Felix Millan, prompting a furious Millan to bash Ott in the face with a baseball. Ott, who had been a wrestler in high school, responded by picking Millan up and body slamming him, shattering Millan's collarbone and ultimately ending his career shortly thereafter. Ott would be ejected from the game, but his teammates stood by him, declaring that Millan had been more at fault. Ott would win the World Series with the Pirates in 1979, batting .333 with 3 RBIs during the series. He would be traded to the then California Angels in 1981 and played 1 season in Anaheim before retiring. Ott then entered coaching, serving 5 years as the Houston Astros' first base coach under Art Howe, as manager of the Northeast League's Allentown Ambassadors for much of the team's existence, and 2 years as a coach with the Detroit Tigers. Ed Ott died in 2024. As the 20th century progressed, shopping trends changed as businesses moved out of downtowns and into malls and shopping centers. One product of this in the Muncie area was the Lycoming Mall, which opened outside town on July 18, 1978. Hess's and GB's were the mall's original anchors. They would be joined by Woolworths in October 1978 and the external Riverside Market in December of that year. Among the other opening day stores in the mall were Deb, Endicott Johnson, KB Toys, K Jewelers, Ray and Derrick Drugstore, and Walden Books. The mall's trademark structure, its Hadani Arch, was dedicated in December 1978 as well. Named for its designer, Israel Hadani, it appears to have a different shape depending on the angle one looks at it from. The Lycoming Mall would add Dysroth's department store in 1979, and Bon-Ton JCPenney moved in during the 1980s. A United Artists Theater, Arcade, and Carousel also operated in the mall over the years. Shopping habits changed again in the early 21st century, with more consumers switching to online shopping. Malls everywhere started declining, and the Lycoming Mall was no exception, losing much of its tenants in the 2010s. The overall mall closed for good in February 2023. The last remaining tenant on site, Burlington Coat Factory, shut down in early 2025, ending nearly 50 years of commerce on the site.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, we're going to talk about why pregnant girls should be under chiropractic care, and the infant, how the birth process could be traumatizing. If I had a dream, every new baby would get a chiropractic analysis to see if the spine is in alignment. So stay tuned for a great show.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.